So we're going to get to watch the ending all over again, but this time it's going to have just a little more flavor to it. Of course, in the original ending, Firion and his companions make their way back to Castle Finn after defeating the Emperor, and Hilda and Gordon greet them. Hilda says, it's finally over, isn't it? It was a long struggle, but with the Emperor gone, we've nothing left to fear. Thank you. With all my heart, I thank you. But notice this. Minwu appears in Castle Finn. Gordon says, with the combined strength of Kashuan and Finn, we will build the kingdom anew. Together, Princess, we will create a kingdom even fairer than the old. Though once a coward, I now stand here a new man. I have all of you to thank for that. You have my deepest gratitude. I'm sure Scott is smiling down on me from above. And with that line, that cues the entrance of Scott's ghost in front of Minwu. Scott says, Gordon, how strong you've grown. And of course you remember the scene with Paul, who comes down to the group and says, look at you. Do you realize what you've done? Who am I supposed to steal from with the Empire gone? You put me out of a job. I guess I'll just have to start stealing from you. Better watch your backs. But he doesn't see Scott and Minwu there. And here comes Layla. You sure showed him, Firion. You're every bit the bloke I pegged you for. If you ever feel like trying your hand at pirating. What? That not sit well with you, Maria? Looks like your next battle's already begun, Firion. And with that, Layla exits. And now comes Joseph's daughter, Nellie. She says, you did it. I'm sure my dad's happy for you too, up there above the clouds. I'm going to be working here, serving the princess. I just want to do whatever I can to help out. Oh, I'm sure Joseph's very proud of his daughter. He says, my Nellie, such a brave girl. Oh, that's great that Nellie's going to be well taken care of. And along comes Alina and Cain, Ricard's wife and child. Alina says, we've decided to live in Finn too. Cain will never grow up to be a good dragoon if we're always running from our past. Cain says, I'm not running from nothing. I've got my own wyvern and I'm going to be the best dragoon ever. And with that, Ricard enters the room and he says, you will, Cain. The blood of the dragoon flows in your veins. Hilda says we must now dedicate ourselves to the task of restoring what was lost. Farewell. Words cannot express my gratitude to you all. And there they exit stage left, unaware of Minwu, Scott, Joseph, and Ricard's presence in the room. Scott says, Gordon, look after Hilda for me. Guy says, war finally over. Firion says, yes. We can live in peace again, together. Right, Leon? Oh, yes, we remember this. Leon's not going to be able to stay with Firion and Maria and Guy for a while because of his deeds. He says, for us, there can be no going back. But why? Don't go. Firion, stop him. Maria, Leon is right. We've been through too much. I can't stop him. Not now. Leon, when the time is right, we'll be waiting. And so Leon exits. Well, we should be going too. This is only the beginning. So as those four heroes leave, they had no idea of the struggle these four heroes had been through. Ricard says, I think that's our cue. Joseph says, this is their time now. Scott says, do you think they're up to it, Minwu? Minwu says, I believe they are. If anyone can change our legacy of violence, they can. And so one by one, all 4 of them disappear. And they're able to finally rest in peace. So we're going to get to see the ending credits all over again. They're the same credits that we saw after we beat the main portion of the game. So that is the Soul of Rebirth. It has come to an end at last. Not bad for an extra 5 to 10 hour scenario. I thought it was pretty cool. The storyline of Minwoo, Scott, Joseph, and Ricard, 4 fallen warriors, getting to go through and level them up and see an extra struggle that they get to pit themselves through. Thought it was kind of cool that the Soul of Rebirth was completely the opposite of what Firion, Maria, Guy, and Leon went through at the end of the game. Of course, the unknown cave was called Rakia, Land of Fallen Angels, and it was a mirrored version of Jade Passage. And the unknown palace was called Erebeth, the Palace of the Heavens, which was a mirrored version, the complete opposite of Pandemonium, the Palace of Hell. So I really enjoyed the Soul of Rebirth. The only thing I wish they would have explained more to us was what became of Sid and the villagers of Mackinac. I guess we can only assume that they're resting in peace now too, since the 4 warriors did defeat the Emperor of Erebeth. So I hope you enjoyed this LP of the Soul of Rebirth. For those of you that have played the PSP version of the game, how did you like the Arcane Labyrinth? Was the Destroy tome worth getting? I don't have a PSP, so I've never gotten to play the Final Fantasy II Anniversary Edition, but I hear that offers an extra 5 to 10 hours of playtime, just like the Soul of Rebirth did. Maybe in the future, I'll get the chance to play that one too. So here we go, we're watching the closing credits all over again, and as this LP of Soul of Rebirth comes to an end, we can look forward to future LPs. I guess my next project is going to be Final Fantasy IV Advance for the Game Boy Advance. I've been looking forward to playing through that one for a while. I just actually completed it several months ago. So that's going to be my next main LP project, and on the side I'm planning on LPing Dragon Warrior 1 for the Game Boy Color. So look for that in the near future. Dragon Warrior 1 is pretty easy. It's a lot easier and a lot quicker to go through than the old NES version. But there's some extra stuff added to that, which I'm sure you'll enjoy too if you're a fan of the Dragon Warrior / Dragon Quest series. So we have now completed everything in Dawn of Souls. We've gone through Final Fantasy I and all the bonus dungeons that had to offer, and now we've been through Final Fantasy II, and we've been through the Soul of Rebirth scenario. There's only one thing left to do here in this Dawn of Souls version of Final Fantasy II. You might remember that we defeated the Erebeth Emperor, and that is going to be our final entry in the Bestiary. So in order to see that entry in the Bestiary, we'll have to wait for the credits to close here, and once they do, we'll be given the option to go through and save our game clear data once again. And it looks like the end is coming up here, so once it does, I'm going to go through and save my game clear data again, and once I do that, we'll take one final look at the Bestiary for completion purposes. Once you save your game clear data file, you can return to the title select screen and go one to the left of Final Fantasy II to select the Bestiary. Let's just go down here and select Final Fantasy II. And select our recently saved game clear data file, and with that we will now have the 100% completed Bestiary standing before us. All that's left to look at is number 162, which is the Emperor that we just fought at the end of the Soul of Rebirth. There's all of his statistics, just in case you were curious. And with that, that's going to bring this LP of Final Fantasy II, the Soul of Rebirth, to a complete close. I certainly thank you for watching this series of videos. I hope you found it worthwhile. Hope it helped you out. And it's time to say farewell for the final time for this LP. This is Vortex 259. Have a great day, everyone. I'll be seeing you again soon in our next LP.